All right. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Davion. Well, hug is what it says on the screen. How are you doing
Mm,
today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. So we're going to
Yeah.
give people the opportunity to go ahead and join in. Like you just reminded me, we
I'm doing good. How
are
about you?
kind of in the midst of the debate is going on also. So we kind of have to go a little bit with that. We're just gonna let some people join in a little bit before we get into the discussion.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, hug is one of them. I can't neglect hug. Like that's just who I am. That's a part of me. That's who people know me by. Like most people don't. A lot of people don't even know my real name. So
Yeah,
I can't
it's funny
even
because I
do away
remember
with it.
my I have siblings that that know you well, and
Yeah,
it was just like, well, what is his real name? And it's it's like I don't know. Like I'm a
yeah.
find don't worry about it.
And
But
like so,
yeah,
and it's a big part of me growing my business, my brand out here. Like Davion. Who is Davion? Oh, Hug. Oh, yeah, I know Hug. That's cool people. So I
yeah,
can't do away with it.
definitely love all the way around. So let's go ahead and jump right in there. Who is Davion the man?
Oh, man, father. I'm a father first. Friend, family man. Like that's my life is based around my family. Everything is just around my family, my kids. Um, yeah, so I say family man. That's it.
Yeah,
It's boring. Hey, it's bland. It's boring, but that's who
not at
I
all.
that's who I really am. Like I'm family first. So
Yeah, so it kind of leads me into the our second question, which is who is Davion the father? Like, how do you balance your family life and your business, or do they they just kind of go together?
I base my business around my family time. I know, like I said, I have kids and they're active on the weekend, so I had to do away and do away with Saturdays. Most barbers like that's like foreign land. Like no barber takes off on Saturdays.
Yeah,
So yeah, I make it work, and with the appointment schedule, people like able to book around my schedule. It just flows naturally, really. So it's
yeah,
not too bad.
yeah. So you learned earlier on that you kind of had to sacrifice some things to make sure you
Yeah,
maintain that balance.
you
That's
have
good.
to.
It's good stuff. So who is Davion the entrepreneur?
It's and that's like a new journey that I'm tapping into, like as we speak. So um, we can relive on this question again, like in another 2 years as
Yeah,
everything just grows. So but just I grind like I'm a grinder. I grind. I'm gonna grind my way through every situation, and
yeah,
that's just how I approach my day, how I approach whatever goals I have set. So, um, but now it's time to take it to a different level, and the thinking aspect and multiplying everything that comes along with entrepreneur. And I had to learn a lot. So I had to learn a lot, dive into follow different steps of other successful people. So the
yeah,
whole Jay-Z, Nipsey, like follow their blueprints, like they lay in and out for us. So
absolutely.
and just incorporate it into the the barber world.
Yeah. Um, how does where you come from play a part in what you do? I noticed that you said you grind, you watch people, like you just named Jay-Z, Nipsey Hussle. How does like I said, the part where you come from and what you've learned, how does that play a part in what you do?
Um, I feel like I've had some family members come before me, and was nice with the clippers ever before I was even thinking about cutting hair. Um, I have a brother that cut hair, and he was the kind of one of the first ones that fell in love with it first. He's older than me, so he fell in love with it first. And me want to be like big bro, and some older cousins as well. I kind of took took heed to it, and it's blessed me and my family. But definitely where that's the culture. Like
Yeah.
everybody wanted to learn how to at least learn how to do a fade or learn how to cut hair a little bit. Like if not, you tried it a little bit and you
Yeah.
just didn't stick with it. You know mess up them 1 or 2 times and you just didn't stick with it. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I know growing up for me, I tried it a little bit. I
see,
messed up my brother's hair one time and I was like, yeah, I'm good. This is not for me.
yeah,
But that's true. Everybody has tried it, how have the individual, well, who would you consider as some of the trailblazers in the barbering field for you?
um, my first barber Don over at Razor Sharp, now Blade Masters. For me, like he's still cutting hair to this day. So big ups to him. Of course, Matt Hair Limit Crew, um, Twix, Trey House of Fades. Like just hearing all those stories, just it's crazy. Um, Carl, of course, baby C.
Yeah.
Just watching him, Marcus Allen, masterpiece. Like that masterpiece is crazy. And like I said, my bro JJ, and like he really, he's like probably my biggest influence, just on cutting hair, period. And big ups to him. Love you,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. How have those individuals impacted you or influenced you
Oh,
in your life?
um, just seeing what all you can have. Matter of fact, my last barber before I went to barber school, Nardo, he kind of pushed me to go. He was like, "You got to get up and go. Like you'll figure everything else out." Like there wasn't barber schools in Vegas at that time, so most of the older barbers had to travel out of state to go to barber school, that was the biggest commitment of becoming a barber back then. Now it's like 3, 4 different schools now. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Bernardo, he just told me go out and go, leave. You'll figure it out, and I figured it out. 10 months of your life, figured it out, and you know, and just seeing all the money that they were making and houses they were buying, cars they were driving, like outside of the rappers and the businessman, and this was the lifestyle. Like you made your
Absolutely.
own, you come and go as you please, like you dress how you want to dress, and you make decent money, and that's when I kind of really fell in love with it.
Yeah. So barbering it kind of affords you a freedom within
Exactly,
your profession to kind of just be you, an individual.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. It's good. How would you say technology changed the world of barbering in your opinion?
And technology changed it changed the world really, and so now you really have to you have the power to you don't have to you have the power of social media. I mean, you don't have to go out there and really physically hand out card for card, stick flyers on people's windows. You just make you a nice page and load content, and it's just easy for you to become successful a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But with that becomes laziness. People,
Yeah.
you don't have to get out there and really hustle no more. You can just sit up and just post that and here and there, and but it all works. So I think it works for the better though, especially
Yeah.
if you want to expand your business, entrepreneur life, and get everything flowing. Makes it a
Yeah.
lot easier for people to know you.
Yeah. So it looks like Brandon said, so they have schools here now for barbers.
They do. They have the Nevada First Barber College, the Masterpiece. Marcus has one. I think Expertise may have one. And man, coming soon, original barber
Yeah.
school. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming soon, man. It's in the works. My boy Carl, he's been working, grinding. So he's been one of my biggest influences as well. Just a mentor, husband, father. Like seeing how to do it, firsthand, but correctly. So big up to my boy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, when did you know that barbering was something you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
Man, so what's so crazy? So I started cutting hair like around 13, just
Okay.
playing around with the clippers, and all the way till I was like 21, right before I went to barber school. But I never, up until before I left for barber school '07, I never wanted to be a barber. I just felt like barbers didn't get the type of respect that other successful people got. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I wanted to be more in corporate America, right?
Yeah.
But cutting hair was a hobby. It was always fun for me. Like it got me through college. Um, but back against the wall, what you gonna do? Let's go to barber school, and it's been the biggest blessing of my life. Like I'm I don't have no regrets.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's the setup in a barbershop in terms of location of where the station is? Is there any significance in how a person is placed within the barbershop? Like the
Um,
within, yeah,
I don't think there's I don't think there's any significance. I was kind of there when the shop was being built, so he asked me, where you want to be?" And I'm like, at Masterpiece, I was kind of like ducked off in the corner, which I was in my comfort zone. I'm kind of a standoffish person, and so I immediately looked back in the corner. But I'm like, if I'm going to grow, I got to be closer to the front so I can kind of talk to
yeah,
socialize a lot more, talk to the clients to walk in. So I picked kind of in the middle where I could see every TV in the shop. That's
yeah,
what. Yeah, I'm a sports guy. I need to see what's going on. So
yeah, yeah. It's definitely a whole mood in the barbershop.
yeah.
It was funny because when I was preparing for this conversation with you, my husband asked me, like, how was it when you go in the barbershop? I was like, it was anxiety. Like, I was
Oh
anxious the whole
yeah.
time because, it was a point in time where women would go
Yeah.
to the barbershop, and probably some still do, to get their eyebrows done and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
just a whole different environment in there. It's what it's sometimes therapeutic for some men, because I've
Yeah.
heard you guys can kind of go in there and talk or whatever, and it's just a place, I guess, for people to hang out. I'm not really sure, because I don't know specifically, but it was just a crazy setup for a woman, in my opinion. But
Well, with
it's
with
different.
the with the walk-in system the way I mean with the appointment system the way it is now, like it eliminates a lot of like traffic. So it's not as busy, not as rowdy as it used to be. Like it really we tell all the young barbers all the time, like, our vibe used to be rowdy. Like that was just who we were. It was fun. But we were 20s, we were in our 20s. It was fun. Now it's a lot more calm. Actually having a few lady clients kind of influenced me going the whole appointment route because I just seen, they were a little uptight sometimes when it's a
Yeah,
million, million bros running
yeah.
around talking loud. So
It's like,
the
hold on, can
appointment
I come?
system changed the game.
Yeah, it's true. Um, Barbering, in my observation, is a business within itself. In that each individual barber pays, booth rent and gains their individual compensation. What would you say are some pros and cons to being a barber versus owning a barbershop?
Um, I would say owning a barbershop, you collecting booth rent. You're
Okay.
getting multiple booth rents, so passive income. Um, but on the flip end of that, so the cons is you have all of the responsibilities. Something goes wrong, they're coming to look at you. So the chair goes wrong, they're coming to look for you.
Yeah.
The pros of just renting a chair, you just rent the chair. You come and go as you please. You pay for your own supplies, but if anything goes wrong, it's not on you. And so do you want the bigger paycheck or do you want the smoother life? Just A or B. A lot of people choose B just because they don't want. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So it's more so like, so it is a business within itself when you are renting the chair, because it's almost, you
yeah,
said you're responsible for everything on your own.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
definitely that sounds like a lot of responsibility to own the whole thing. But eventually, is that not the goal of a barber, to have his own eventually? Or
I'm not sure if every barber has that goal. I think
okay,
they should. I mean, I do. It is a goal of mine. But I don't think I think some barbers are content with like, yo, I'm good. I don't want the response. I'm making good money. I don't want all the headaches that comes along with it.
yeah,
And and they're still providing, they're still maintaining their life. But some people that want more and see the benefits of having more, and they choose the shop life, and I, it's like a no-brainer for me. But
Absolutely.
and there's
Yeah.
no timetable on it. Whenever it happens, it happens.
Yeah. So do you remember when you started out, or did you just blink and you were where you are right now?
I remember every step. I remember
Yeah.
the bathroom cuts.
Wow.
I remember the bathroom cuts has really got me a lot of practice. Keem got me a lot of my reps back in the day. He was pretty boy, Kappa League. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So he
okay.
wanted a haircut in between his every 2 week haircut, and I was like his in between guy. Just
Oh,
fix me up a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got you. And he gave me a lot of practice. So, but the bathroom, barber school, like I said, that commitment on, like I said, just traveling, having to go. I went to Houston. I actually lived with King while I was in barber school. And it's traveling to Houston, and like that's a whole different lifestyle just to get my barber hours and come back home to take my test and start my life. And I remember Masterpiece, fun times, and like I said, here we are now, and like I still feel like I'm in the best position of my life right now. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I know, just kind of watching the evolution of you, like you said, when you were in Masterpiece, around the corner, from Granny
yeah,
House, to where you are right now. Like you are doing exceptionally well. Like, even just with your social media presence, it's real. I'm telling you, when
right,
I see the link for your site and I went there and seen how amazing it's set up, it's just
yeah.
absolutely amazing. I
Thank you,
really commend you on the hard work you've done. It's really dope.
thank you.
Um, so where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Uh, Shop owner, uh, just expanding my brand. I have some new ideas on the way. Actually, everything is in motion as we speak. So I got some new things coming, and just shop owner. I I want to invest in more real estate. Just invest in just building my family legacy. So these next 10 years are some of the most important years for the rest of my life. So it's
Absolutely.
like, even though I'm where I am right now, it's like I gotta go 10 times harder just to kind of make sure that my family is good.
Yeah.
So that's just expanding the brand, just investing, making investments, um, being a better father. Like I can always be a better father, better. I'm not a husband yet, but
Yeah, it's on the
someday.
way.
But maybe it's on the way, right? It's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So just, it sounds like diversity is what you're working towards,
exactly.
diversifying your brand, and that, like I said, it's just amazing to see what you're doing. So let's talk community.
Okay.
What would you say to a younger person asking the following: how do I begin in terms of barbering?
First step is figuring out which school you want to go to. I knew she was gonna chime in on that one. Yeah, I know it. The first step is figuring out which school you want to go to. Every school is different. And every school may not suit you. Um, so first locate which school you want to go to, and if you can afford that price, because they want the money for sure. See if some type
Yeah,
of funding available. Some schools accept some type of government funding. That's always good to look into, and that's first step. That is
yeah,
the first step, is starting, like how Nardo told me. Once you start, you'll figure everything else out because you just want to accumulate those hours. So
yeah. So just take the leap initially.
take that leap. You'll figure it out. I didn't even have a job working in Houston, like, and living in Houston.
Wow.
I went to
Yeah,
school like 8, 9 hours a day, and I was a decent barber to where I gained some tips, like that little 10, like $20 a day. I made it work. So
yeah. So it takes
yeah,
a great deal of character and hard
yeah,
work for sure.
yeah.
Um, so this kind of question kind of ties in, or you kind of answered a little bit, but what level of education do you need to have starting out?
I would say high school, but
Okay.
when I was in barber school, I seen a kid 14 years old. Like he would only come on Saturdays, but that was his day. He was getting his hours, and by the time he probably graduated high school, he probably had his hours. But he started at 14. So different states have different guidelines, different rules, and he was nice too. Like I can't even. They put me to shame. Before I was,
At
I was a
14?
little salty about that. Like, nah. But
Yeah. So how long well now so okay, so how long is the average program for barbering when you go to
the
school?
state, the state of Nevada requires you to have 1,500 hours completed.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it takes about 9.5, 10 months if you're going regularly. Sometimes it take you a year and a half. It depends on your life, your your life schedule. So,
Okay. Okay. Um what are some things most people don't think about when it comes to being a barber, in your opinion?
uh, the commitment, like I feel like I said when I asked my barber back then, this is years ago, like more than 15 years ago, how much he was making a week, and he told me he was like over 1,500 a week. And I'm like, whoa, how can I? I'm going to barber school, right? I'm going to barber
Done
school,
deal.
but those first few months are rough because you have to build that. Like so, the patience to in order to build your clientele, and that's probably the hardest part because you jump into the profession thinking you're just jumping into that lifestyle. Nah, that has to build, and it takes patience.
Yeah.
Takes patience.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you see yourself in an instructional position eventually? And
Not
I asked
not
you
in
that before you answer. I asked you that because the man that you've come under, you call him Carl. I've
yeah,
been seeing a lot of his information on him, teaching people and
right.
bringing those. Yeah. So do you see yourself in that position eventually?
So he actually he has his instructor license, and that's why he's in position now to get the school up and going. I see myself going taking that route, but I do want to maybe like coach some young barbers, maybe like a barber coach, barber life coach, however you want to.
It's good.
Yeah, and just because like I said, a lot of young barbers just getting in there and just like me, like I was just no guidance, and so
Right.
I would want to kind of maybe coach them up just to save them some time,
Yeah.
save you a lot of time, and so that's something I am interested in, but. Instruction, I'm like, no, I don't want to teach you how to cut hair. Everybody has their own unique style. Like, I'm not going, however you learn it. That's how I see it.
Yeah. See, that's one of the parts of it that I find very remarkable about about you and where you is the component and where we come from. We didn't necessarily grow up in the same neighborhood, but we grew up in close
Yeah,
proximity,
right
and a
there.
lot of times there's a rough around the edges that we have, and if we could get with the people that are coming up underneath us and really show them how to polish that up and
Yeah,
harness that raw potential, like what and help them along the way. Like I think that's so important, but it's almost like it's like a no-brainer with you that would be something that you would want to do.
yeah,
um
no. I it took for some young barbers to come into the shop, call me OG a couple times for me to realize like I'm in a different position now.
yeah,
They kind of looked up to me. I'm like, what? Like I'm what? Like no, I don't. We're equals. Like I don't. No, we good. But
yeah,
they kind of and it made me kind of look at things a little differently. Like maybe I need to take a step back and just embrace that role. I'm not I'm not young no more, right? So
yeah,
and so it is something that I want to do. Just to like I said, just to and I only know these steps because I went through it.
yeah.
I went through every step. So I know how to avoid certain steps now. I know the sacrifices, know the commitment, know the discipline it's going to take. And there's no the proper steps now. So if I can kind of instill that into some of the younger barbers, then save them some time, and hopefully they can benefit from it as well in a short
Absolutely.
amount of time.
Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely a blessing in being able to have someone that's an example and help you out in that area. But unknowingly, sometimes we become that aspiration to other people.
Mhm.
You know, we have a level of responsibility and accountability to those that are coming underneath us, even whether we want it or not. You
Whether
know,
you want it or not.
yeah, you know, people are watching and
Yeah.
they are looking and they're paying attention. And like I said, it's just really remarkable. So there's a social aspect to being a barber that many forget about. Do you believe that adequate social skills are necessary for master barbering or barbering in general? Because I know you said earlier that, you know, initially going into the shop, you know, your comfort zone was just being in the back, you know, just, you know, stand
And
out
that's
of the
my
way.
and
But
that
do you
is
think,
initially that is my demeanor. I'm laid back, I'm standoffish, I'm chill. That's just my vibe. Unless I know you, then I'm silly, silly boy. But
yeah,
I I do I don't wanna misword it, but I do kind of look at myself as a barber therapist. Like
yeah,
each client is different. Each client we bond, we share each other's stories, and those are my guys, and each session like it's probably therapeutic for them. I know, like when I book my haircut with my barber in the shop, my boy Tommy. Shout out my boy Tommy Guns. When I I talk to him, I'm like, hey, it's a session. Like, I get a few things off my chest. He listens, you know what I'm saying, give me some advice and vice versa. So so just talking to your clients, whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Some days I might not talk. Some days, might not be, you know, I'm in a mood. But at
yeah,
the end of the day, I gotta check myself. I'm like, they're not paying for, sometimes they're not just paying for the haircut. Sometimes they're paying for the overall experience and coming to
absolutely.
talk. I know they got that time slot, and you don't I can be selfish. So, you know, and for the most part, everybody's cool, man. All my clients are like, they all my friends, really,
Yeah.
my
So
guys.
in today's climate, with all that's going on in the world, are there topics or discussion that you might stay away from um, in the barbershop?
I'm good at playing devil's advocate, seeing both sides. That's just, I think that's how I kind of smooth everything out.
So Brennan says, so you don't cut your own hair. Why is that?
Oh no, no. At the end of the day, like I'm cutting hair all day. Well, I don't want to waste time and spend time on in the mirror and adjusting and worrying about if no, I'm cool. I'm gonna go. And I pay my guy too. I'm gonna pay him. Just thank you for getting me. And I just want to be a client for a time for a
Yeah,
change.
yeah, yeah.
But
You
don't.
definitely want that time.
But I don't get haircuts every week though. Like I would touch myself up in between time. So I can do a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So, how do you manage the ever changing personalities of your clientele?
Gotta be a chameleon. Like you have to adapt every. You just gotta adapt to every situation. Like if I look at I have to pregame for my day. I look at my schedule, see how it's gonna go, and just get ready. It's like a get ready really mentally. If I
Yeah,
got a couple kids, I know it's gonna be kicking and screaming. I gotta prepare myself mentally. So um, if I got like a real picky client, I'm not okay. Let me be real precise with my boy today, just because I know how he wants it, and I know he wants a certain way. So you got to just prepare yourself mentally, but
yeah,
be a chameleon, adapt, and go with the flow. Really, and a lot of my clients, we have a lot of things in common, so it just flows really.
yeah. So Brendan says, do you set your schedule based on the clients you have?
Actually, so going back, I kind of figured your question out now, right? Going back to how everything changed, the social aspect or the booking aspect. So I have my booksy. Everybody just I set my schedule 8 to like 5 o'clock or whatever it may be, and it's on them to book whatever they suit for them. So I have a lot of clients that book maybe 3, 4 appointments at a time. Like they're already booking in December just because they know they want they know they're coming every week or they're coming every 2 weeks. Let me
Yeah.
get let me fill mine's up. And they will book and just at I don't have to do anything really. Like I just open hours and let them book. And it's taking a lot of off of me.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, because it was like I said, it was another discussion I was having with my husband. He was like, how do they do, like, he gave like this example where he's like, man, I was sitting in the barber shop and then the home, the barber's friend came in,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then I had to wait. He was like, hold on, you're like, what's going on? So how do you even, I can understand how it takes, a lot of that pressure away from you, and that, man, you can just book your own appointment. I'm gonna be here. It's up to you to get in, almost like where you fit in. So I definitely
Yeah.
understand. Um, if you could say anything to your younger self, what would it be?
Hmm. Man, have a plan. Having a plan is one of the most important things because it just cuts all the time in half. Have a plan, stick to it. Like
Just plan.
really, like I was really like just on the go. Go to work. I'm either going to get some sneakers or I'm going to hit a lounge or a club, like, or I was hanging with the kids. Like it was just my life was everywhere. So I would have a plan, and then that's what got me to X, Y, and Z now. Just having a plan, sticking to it. That's the
Yeah,
most important thing you can do.
yeah. So in our final thought, because we're almost to a close here, what encouragement would you give to someone that is looking to one, what encouragement would you give someone that's getting ready to give up and they don't really know which area or what to do in their life? Like you said, they're kind of just all over the place. They're being pulled in many different directions. They have bills. What would you give to a young man or even a young woman that's coming up? What encouragement or direction would you give them?
As far as a young barber or
As far as a young person in general, with
in
all that,
general,
yeah, with all that we have
um,
going on in the world, if you could speak to a room full of young people, what would you say to encourage them?
man, never give up. Never give up for one, but at the same time, turn that grind up and learn as much as you can. Like I said, study these rich moves. Study these rich guys' moves. Like they have so much game and so much insight into these books. But a lot of the youth, they don't want to read. I didn't want to read. If you would have told me to read a book when I was young, I would have looked at you crazy. I read my first book when I left after college. I was like 30 years old, but it impacted my life, changed my life. And I started want to read more and more and more. And they're just dropping so many gems and jewels in there, but you got to just sit down for a minute and just take in this information, take in the knowledge, like invest in your information. That's priceless. It can never be taken away. So once you know the information, you can set those plans and execute those plans, but you got to learn the information first.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not just gonna happen for you.
yeah.
So, but that would be my main thing, man. Never stop learning. So
That's good. That's good. So, like in closing, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to have you to discuss your life. Everybody doesn't
I
want to
know,
get on
right?
the live and talk about what they doing, how they doing it,
Yeah,
and I really appreciate your time. Again, I just really want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job. Family, I really wanted
thank you.
to really get into who you were, because you're so much more than a barber. I see the children. I see, I don't know if I see the woman in your life. I don't want to put any
Yeah,
more pressure on you, because I was about to use the F
yeah, I
word
know,
real
right?
quick.
Like,
I see all of those amazing things, and I think it's awesome. So continue to do what you're doing. Continue to be an example, even though a lot of times we don't necessarily want to be.
yeah,
Um, I thank you for your time again. I thank you for your gift. I like I said in the description, I think you're one of the dopest barbers in Vegas. And
Thank you.
I pray that God continues to raise you up into the position that you aspire to be. Thank you for all of the questions, all of the comments. I appreciate you guys. You made the
No problem.
discussion very colorful.
Thank you.
So until next time, take care, and we'll definitely be in touch because I got a couple of more questions for you because we definitely need to get you in that mentor program.
Yeah, for sure.
As
Thank
the
you, man.
mentor.
Thank you for reaching out for me too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, take
All right.
care.
All right, you too.